went to Sammy new restaurant the other day. I thought about you, Janessa.
Oh yeah, you went to Crew.
Mm-hmm.
How was it?
We went during the day, so it really wasn't that many people in there. It was cool.
Oh, yeah, y'all know Sammy's my boo in my head.
So, yeah, but yeah, no, we went like Saturday at like 4:00.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check them out.
So
what kind of food was it? Was it like a I like it burger?
Huh?
Was it like I like it burger?
Crazy things I do.
Right. Crazy things I do for cheese sticks. No. Cheeseburger. Nah. It was like bar food. It was all, like I said, I don't know the Crew brand. I guess there's a whole Crew brand, but each individual restaurant is individually owned. So it's all like crew tails and something. It was.
I've only been to one by Pont City Market. I don't even know if it's still there anymore.
Yeah, I don't know either. But yeah, it was cool. A couple of other guys who went to Morehouse opened it up with them.
Yes, Lyric.
Same with the Morehouse.
Huh?
Same with the Morehouse.
But the couple of guys that he opened up the restaurant with did.
Oh, gotcha.
So just went to go support. I'm thinking wouldn't be that many people in there. Well, that's not true. So the DJ from our wedding was supposed to DJ there at that time. And we were going to surprise him. We get in there, we pull in, it's like 2 cars in the parking lot. And I'm like, dang, I hope they ain't do this to DJ. DJ Tottenham, that he got this whole set and he was supposed to be DJing from 2 to 6. Again, we got there about 4:15, 4:30.
Oh.
And I was like, ooh. And so we walk in and there was no DJ. And so I'm like, well, what happened to the DJ? And they were like, well, something happened, something. And so we texted DJ because Valentine likes surprises. He liked to just show up. And he was like, oh man, they didn't promote it right. And so we're going to start it another week. And I was like, okay, because they didn't promote it. I'm like, because Saturdays can be a big thing. Like you can make anything a big thing in Atlanta. Like a Thursday at 7 is karaoke night, R&B bingo. Like just make up something in Atlanta and people will come out.
Not R&B bingo.
R&B bingo.
That's crazy.
That's a big thing around here these days.
Y'all are right though, because the only way I saw it was from Lyric's page and Sammy's page. So if I didn't follow them, I probably wouldn't have known.
Right. But I'm like, just promote it. Just make up something. Saturday, I don't know. Whatever. And people gonna show, like they made Sundays the best day of the week. Like when was Sunday the best day of the week? Sunday supposed to be rest day. Now it's Sunday fun day. Like just make up something. But yeah. So but I thought of you. I said, if I see Janessa, I'm gonna take a picture. I mean, if I see Sam, I'm gonna take a picture.
Girl,
for Janessa.
you need to like secure him and call me, and I'll be there.
I was prepared to tell my husband if I saw him, just give me a fan moment for like 2 seconds. I used to love Sammy back in the day. Just let me get a fan moment for 2 seconds. Can you take this picture real quick?
For all of it.
Right.
Us. You gotta do it for everybody.
So, but yeah, but I thought of you.
Yay, thank you. I love it.
No problem.
Well, boom, shaka.
Top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome, gentlemen and ladies. I'm just kidding. To another episode of the Worst Ones Podcast. We're preacher's kids. That is why this podcast is called The Worst Ones, because we're the worst, supposedly. My name is Root Scoot. I'm at the stew. We got Janessa Rowland.
Hey.
I'm Rowland. And we got Queen Kellie, a.k.a. Lee. So what's up, guys? Now that we're only recording twice a month.
Once a month. We ain't even record twice.
Maybe we have a lot to catch up on. How's everybody doing?
Well, I'm good. Celebrated my 1 month anniversary.
All right.
A few days ago.
There you go.
So that was great. Finally getting back on track. I was struggling for a while. January was tough. I just could not get my life back together. After the wedding, after the break, after the fun, after the honeymoon, like going back to real life was hard. But today I brought it on the first. I brought it back together. I said I got to do better in February than I did in January because I was struggling. But yeah, but otherwise, all is well.
Well, Kelly, I'm glad you're doing well. I kind of
I thought 2025 was gonna be a different year.
Huh?
I said I thought 2025 was gonna be a different year for you, Janessa.
Well, no, I did too, and I've actually just told my therapist, like, I've come to accept that this is just the season I'm in. It's an extended season. But last Thursday, I think a deer hit me. Yeah, not I hit the deer, but the deer hit me.
Lord.
And it was so just disappointing because I was off Friday and the following Monday and Tuesday, and I was dropping something off at my field site Thursday evening on the way home from work. And I was talking to my dad on the phone, and because I had to go to my field site after hours, like I just, wanted him to be on the phone, make sure I'm good. So I'm literally on the street to where my field site is. The deer runs out and I start screaming. I feel so bad for my dad because like I'm just talking to him and then I'm literally like full blown distress. And I couldn't go to the left. I couldn't get out the way. And so I just closed my eyes, which everybody's like, why did you close your eyes? I didn't know what was about to happen. So I closed my eyes and the deer hit my car. And my dad, of course, immediately is like, where are you? I'm coming right now. And so Bambi died, y'all. Oh. She, whatever it is, went home with the mama. Damaged my hood, grill, bumper, all of that. Thankfully, the car was drivable. But I was concerned because y'all know I have a 2013 Hyundai Sonata. Like, they gonna total it. My car is not worth that much at this point. But so far, the insurance company has approved the repairs. I've been in a rental, so hopefully I'll get my car, back soon. But that was just, I spent my off days going to get car estimates and, getting a rental and taking it, all that stuff. Not how I wanted to spend my off days. So that happened. But on a positive note, I did the hot chocolate 5K yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
My cousin's turning 40 this year. So she has like a 40 for 40 list. She's trying to do 40 things before her birthday. And so running a 5K was one of them. And that was fun, even though, I grumbled and complained the whole time. But we had a good time. Good. Highly recommend. They give you
I know a lot of people who are out there. Yeah.
Yeah, you get a really nice jacket and like a little fondue bowl.
Yeah, I saw the little brown jacket. That was cute.
Mm-hmm. It was a little hood and you got a little baggie, just lots of cute stuff. So that
you got some hot chocolate?
Yeah, we got hot chocolate at the end, and then you had like the fondue chocolate and like different treats you could dip in it, like pretzels, bananas, marshmallows, cream. So yeah, it was fun. And then we tried the new, I don't know, Kelly, if you heard this new spot called Whisk in Camp Creek.
Mm-hmm. Little brunch spot, yeah.
We went to Whisk.
I'm sorry.
I would say.
Okay.
I don't know if I would go back.
Tell me more.
And we really were trying to support. It's Black History Month. They had just opened last Friday. Mm-hmm. So, we were trying to support. But, it's Atlanta brunch spot. So, of course, you have valet parking.
At Camp Creek?
That's what we said. It's not Peachtree. It's Camp Creek.
Why are we valet parking at Camp Creek?
Yes, that was the first thing. They don't have, like, regular water. You have to buy either sparkling water or bottled water. Like, you can't just get, hey, can I get a glass of water? That's not a thing.
And how much is the bottled water? Like $7 a bottle?
Yes, ma'am. Like, it's
Atlanta.
crazy. they asked if we had a reservation. Now, mind you, we get there like at 10:30 in the morning because we're
This is
right after
Saturday.
the race. Yes. Oh, we have so many reservations. They said we could sit at this high top table that's like this big for the three of us. So we ended up kind of sitting at a bar space. The food was just, regular Atlanta brunch food. It wasn't anything to write home to. Right, home to mom about or anything. I mean, it's just regular brunch food. And me and my sister and my cousin, we were joking like, all they need is a grass wall. And my cousin was like, "Oh, it's in the bathroom." She was like,
"What was about?" They had like a DJ. They had music playing.
They had music. It was like 90s R&B.
Okay, it was music. A DJ or just like a track playing.
A track playing.
Okay.
They messed up our checks. Basically, like. They were adding stuff. There's apparently a 20% gratuity for 4 parties or more, or if you spend $50. We didn't spend either. Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's like we be trying to support, but it's too much. So they had added the 20% gratuity, even though my total was $21.99.
Oh, because they're gonna say between the 3 of y'all, it came up to 50.
And that's not true either. That wasn't true. That's not how it's supposed to work. So did speak to management. They did refund us our money because initially, we had signed everything and we were just going to be like, it is what it is. But something in me, y'all know me, I was like, let me just ask.
Right.
So I asked and they were like, oh no, that's not how it's supposed to be. Because like also I had got the shrimp and grits, but they had charged me a upcharge for shrimp. But it's shrimp.
You get an upcharge on shrimp for shrimp and grits.
And it was $6 for 5 pieces of shrimp. That's what I'm saying. So they had to take that off too. And so once they fixed my check, my cousin and my sister was like, well, I got the same 20% and the extra stuff. So they had to fix everybody's checks. And
Lord.
By the time, we had experienced it, we were just like, yeah, we came saw.
Where is it? By Camp Creek?
Like one plaza up from the U-Bar. Like you're going towards 285.
Okay.
But on the same side as the U-Bar, like there's the Taco Bell.
On the other side. I got you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, yeah, those are the big highlights. Of course, 47's doing a lot, works a lot. We're halfway through school, though. Praise the Lord.
Amen.
So, just keeping, just trying to finish strong and not losing my mind.
Amen. Understood.
And Theodore has about 10 friends that need to go. So if you know of anybody who likes cats, they keep.
Did you bring them all inside?
Heck, I didn't bring not one of them inside.
Oh, because you were gonna buy them a little tent or something.
I did. Remember, I was putting it together.
Yeah.
For the orange cat named Sosa. Mm-hmm. Sosa done brought 2 more orange cats. I don't know if it's her cousins, her sister.
They all staying in the house, in the cat house.
I don't know what they doing. And then there's this tabby cat that's Big Beck. He's here all the time. So I'm truly looking for like a catch neuter release or an organization that will take them, because I can't have like 5 cats just outside my back patio every day. So
well, I think that's a pretty easy fix. You just take the house from out there. I think that's a pretty easy fix. You just remove the house from out there.
So they don't even go in the house. That's the thing.
Okay.
They're not in the house. They sit on the patio, sit on top of it.
Are you feeding them?
Mm-mm. We're not doing those things. They yell. They like to have conversations. They've got to go.
They're probably scrolling.
Oh, I believe it, because Sosa's a girl cat and Big Back's a boy. I can't tell the other 2 orange cats. But if Sosa or her sister, cousins, whatever, bring a litter of 12 to my house, they all gonna have to go.
Right.
They all gonna have to go. So if you know anybody that wants a cat, let me know, because I'm trying to get rid of them.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my life hasn't been too eventful. I guess the only thing really new, we did our first live show here at the studio. That was what's today? Monday. So that was Saturday. It's a couple days.
How'd they go?
Went really well.
Wonderful.
Okay. Yeah.
When will it be released?
I don't want to lie.
It was live, so I couldn't see it live.
It wasn't streaming live. It was a live
Oh.
show, like it was live, like audience, like a, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, how many
Like,
people were in the audience? Oh, it was a comedy show. My bad.
yeah, it was a comedy game show. It was like kind of, it was not like a traditional like comedy show. It was like playing games with the audience. Not quite like wilding out as far as like freestyle comedy like that, but definitely improvisation for sure.
Y'all were telling jokes on people in the audience?
Hmm?
Y'all were telling jokes on people in the audience?
Kind of, sort of, not really. I mean, it's kind of like it may be kind of like situational. So just say like if I'm a comedian, I choose you out of the audience, and just say we're in a situation we're in a situation where like you're in court and I got to be your lawyer and I got to like basically like plead your case to the audience. I basically just have to just make it funny of why I'm pleading your case. So I mean, you could be a complete stranger, so I don't necessarily have to like roast you about something real because I don't know if you've ever really had a DUI or whatever.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? But I can just make up anything, like, oh, you know, this person, you know, always be scratching their butt at work or whatever, anything. You know what I'm saying? And you just keep it going. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So it's that type of thing, and then of course you have like raffles and. You know, we have like certain little chairs that like, you know, if you sit in it, it's got like a little sign of like sit here if you dare type thing. And if you sit in it, you know, it's something will be required of you throughout the show at some point. Some type of
Do I know before I sit in it?
Competition. No. You just sit.
No.
That's the point. You sit there if you dare.
No.
You know, but it's gonna be fun. It's not nothing that would like, you know, harm you or embarrass you or anything like that. It'll just be some type of little game, little competition or something. So it's like that type of thing. But yeah, I mean, but to answer your question as far as how many people could fit, I mean, so the room can only, as far as like audience, it was 27 chairs. But then if you include 7 comedians, or maybe it's six comedians, a cameraman taking still photos, a camera person doing video, the door person, the cameraman's girlfriend, the you know what I'm saying, like everybody who, you know what I'm saying, like once you start adding all that in, now it's about, you know, 40 something people in a room that, you know, that ain't that big. So I mean, like, so because we sold out at 27, but
how much you charge?
It's $15.
Okay. Yeah. And sold out. That's what's up. Well, congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, congratulations. It was a good time. It was a really good time.
I'm sure.
Got great feedback. But yeah, other than that, you know, I'm working, chilling. The new location, my new schedule, I do like it better than working overnight.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
You done messed up our recording schedule, but I'm glad you like your day to day. Because everybody keeps saying, I say, yeah, I got the podcast tonight. They say it's Monday. I said, I know, right?
Same.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know.
That's all I got. It's Monday or Sunday, or unless y'all do it in the morning.
The whole world knows it's Wednesdays. The whole world knows.
All 56 million.
I mean, our families, the friends, everybody know I do the podcast on Wednesdays.
Right. Yeah. Not no more. Sorry.
You got me all confused. Now I do the podcast and I still got 4 days of work left. They're supposed to get me halfway through the week. Jeez.
Well, I guess our topic for today is what we talking about.
Shawty.
Because we never decided what we were talking about today.
I thought this was supposed to do before you say boom shakalaka.
I know, but I didn't think about it after we already did it, and then so
you the one that rushed the boom shakalaka.
I didn't say I didn't. All I'm saying is I didn't think
I'm
about it.
I'm making sure everybody else knows that you're the one that rushed the boom shakalaka.
It's only my mom and Risa. Say they know. Okay. Why you acting like why you acting like you snitching on me to the world?
No, because you said we had 40-something people the other day.
The other day.
The other day.
That was the other month.
Same, whatever.
What is time these days?
Right. But let me listen to atheist musicians in church.
Oh, I forgot I did send that.
Well, let me see. Can I pull it up on you?
Oh yeah, because it's not working for me.
Church.
What? Oh shit, who passed away?
Let me listen. Huh?
Somebody passed away. Oh, Patrick Pat's son. Oh man, yeah, he passed away.
You don't remember we said?
Oh, being shot. Oh, we did talk about that.
Oh yeah, this thing ain't working.
Yeah, I was like, it's not working. Okay, it's not just me.
That's why. It's a photo. It ain't a video.
Oh,
Let me see if I can find it.
I'm like, what the? Oh yeah, because that's why they were. It's a photo. Okay. What's play on photo? Oh, that mercy.
Lord.
Oh, let me see. Okay, here you go.
Hey, Janessa, I meant to ask you, who you know went to fam?
My previous relationship, he went to fam.
So it was so funny. I was Valentine was trying to get to 1,000 followers on his page. And so he was at like 997. And so I was like, oh, 3 more. I said, oh, I can get you another follower. So I go to the Worst Ones PK thing to go and follow him. So then I started looking at old clips of us, and we going through old clips, and there was one where you were talking about your past relationship, and I'm like, oh, look how much we've been through.
Oh, girl.
Couple of years. And you were talking about your future with the past relationship, and getting married and having like in this little clip, and I'm like, look how much we've been through in these 4 years.
Yeah, no, but since I always will rep Spelman and I support all HBCUs, if I got a shirt, I'm gonna wear it. So today is the FAMU shirt. So shout out to the Rattlers. Is it the Rattlers? I think that's what they are.
Get you an email shirt.
Well, actually, me and my dad went to a Georgia Tech women's basketball game a couple of weeks ago. So I got some more Tech gear. If that makes it any better.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't have the HBCU calls.
While we figuring out what we're talking about, I got something else from our intro.
Well, I got the video up. I was trying to wait for it to start over. Go ahead.
Before you get there. So I had to do a speech in church on Sunday.
Oh, look at you.
Last Sunday. They had HBCU Sunday, and so I had to talk about my experience, my HBCU experience. Well, I was so scared. I thought I was doing it from the floor, but I had to do it from the pulpit. Oh my gosh. It was terrible. I mean, it went okay, but I just felt.
How many other people got to speak?
Just me. So it was supposed to be me and Valentine, but Valentine was out of town.
Oh.
So I do it by myself.
Look at you, Kelly, for taking it for the team.
I said, Daddy. When I walked on the pulpit and my daddy was up there, I said, Daddy, you gotta pray for me. I'm scared.
Look at God using you and stretching you out.
Lord. So, but yeah, I just wanted to say that. I had to say it.
Congratulations for getting over that hump.
I know, because let me tell you, I couldn't sleep Saturday night. I almost called my dad 7 a.m. Sunday morning and was like, yo, I can't do it. Find somebody else. I can't do it. So I said, Lord, because again, I couldn't sleep. And so I said, Lord, if I wake up at 7 and it's on my spirit to call my daddy, I'm going to do it. If it's not, I'm not. I woke up at 7, it wasn't on my spirit, and then I guess I had to go and do it.
So the Lord answered you.
He did. He absolutely did. He absolutely did. So, all right.
Well, here's the video of the atheist church musicians. That is so funny to me.
Requirement. If you are playing for a church to be saved, I would love to say yes.
But I knew an atheist
That's tough.
who, I mean, he was an evangelist for atheism. who played for churches on Sunday.
It sounded like he was a drummer or a bass player.
I believe
because the bass players come in off the Newports and they go back in their car.
You are silly.
Who you allow into your house dictates the temperature of your house. So if you allow somebody that's lukewarm, you've now hindered the church going as far as it could go. You know, just because they believe don't mean they believe or have the spirit. You know, just because they say hallelujah doesn't mean they're a minstrel. You know what I'm saying? Just because they look like a thing doesn't mean they are a thing. So that's why it's really important on the pastors to look well into a matter, which is, you know, inspect the fruit. Do they really carry the heart of God? I know musicians that can play their tails off, but you don't feel nothing. Like you don't feel like the peace of God. It's good to the ears, tickling to the ears, not something that changes the heart. Minstrels is literally the complete opposite. I can play the most basic thing, and like the whole room is in a repentant state. Musicians practice the songs. Minstrels like embody the song.
Just said it may be tickling to your ears, but it don't change your heart. Ooh. Who that young man? He preach. I may need to hear some stuff from him.
Do he preach?
Do he preach? And he had a couple little nuggets in there.
So I guess maybe that's a good topic. Do church musicians need to be saved to be paid? Because there's some talented ones. I've definitely seen some church musicians. I mean, I'm a church musician myself. I'm not a paid church musician. I don't think I've ever been paid to be a church musician. Because for one, majority of that was at my dad's church. Number two, even when I went to other people's churches, like in Jacksonville, stuff like that, and I played the drums, I think it was something about me that they just felt like they knew they didn't have to pay me. And so maybe they knew my background. Like, oh yeah, he come from,
he free.
Yeah, his daddy got a church. You know how this go. So I mean, and granted, this wasn't a big church. I'm not making it seem like this was like a mega church, and they just was, skimping me. This was a church that they could use a good discount on a drummer. So, but I definitely know musicians who, I don't know if they atheists or not, but they definitely don't care anything about what's going on in the service. They're going to get that check. I've driven Uber and have picked up a drummer. He got his drumstick bag and a snare drum in his hand. He coming out of one church, getting in my car, so I can drop him off to another church. So they can go play at that one. So that church musician, I know even when I was in Jacksonville, like I knew a lot of the church musicians there because actually, a guy I went to college with. He's a pretty big deal nationally in that church musician world. You know what I'm saying? Like he's very, very, very talented guy. But I've got some insight on a lot of conversations and a lot of church bands, like they have their people. You know what I'm saying? Like if the organist lead, he gonna take the drummer, the bass, everybody, and then we're gonna go to Cathedral since First Baptist don't want to act right. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely big business for sure. But in reference to like, do their beliefs matter or not? I don't know. Because I guess like if they're getting the job done, if worship is great, because at the same time, like if you have musicians that are, just say their talent level is regular enough where they don't have to be paid, like that comes with the cost, because you're not going to get the, because a lot of these people, we know a lot of church musicians, even just say outside even of PJ Morton, who's, they're going on tour with different artists. Like these are highly skilled and like people who maybe even are worth the money. But what if they don't believe in Christ? What if they whatever? Like, because that's what that guy was kind of talking about. Like, if you bring that lukewarmness into your house and all this other type of stuff. So I guess I don't know what y'all think. But I just wanted to just give that insight for anybody who didn't know the church music business, like just church bands and you're just every day, church in the city. Yeah, it's definitely a business more than it is. I love the way this pastor preached, so let me go play the drums at his church and serve. It's like, nah, how much they pay?
Hey guys, sorry to interrupt, but we have a few church announcements. First, thank you all for listening, and make sure that you find us on YouTube at The Worst Ones Podcast. You can also find us wherever you find your podcast, Spotify, Google, Apple Podcasts. You can find us there at The Worst Ones Podcast. And when you get there, make sure you like, you comment, you subscribe, and you share. Thank you. Now back to the show.
I've seen where musicians do play a very instrumental role in church, to the point to where, you know, Rudy with Bishop, there'll be times where Bishop didn't preach. He would literally just sing. And I think it is important. I think whether it's right or wrong, I don't know, but I think it is important if the musicians at least believe in God, God, and not just anything. One, for the fact that, because I have seen many times, I see it on Facebook to this day, people will be like, hey, got a church gig on Sunday, need someone to fill in. If you available, hit me up. Something like that.
A church gig.
Yeah, a church gig. But, depending on the church, depending on the pastor, I can see where that might be a problem, because if you just practicing the music for the selections, but say the pastor, start singing a hymn and you don't know it. I mean, you trying to follow along and, he changing keys and it doesn't go over the way we, us church folks know how it's supposed to go, because that person might not be in tune with church. They don't know that song. And that could go either, that could go for a lot of things. Everybody doesn't know every gospel song.
Right.
But I think that when you're like filling in for someone like Bishop Morton, you're going to have to know some key songs for him, because he's going to break out in them at any second. But every church is not.
Life now is sweet, and my joy is complete, for I'm saved.
And you got to be able to pick it up. And then like I don't know. Sorry, I'm still getting over this cough that I've had forever. Bishop Paul Morton, actually, I think it was a moment that went kind of viral where he was like telling the musicians to come back inside because they needed to hear the word.
Didn't we watch that on here?
We might have.
Yeah, I thought I could have showed that.
We might have. I think some churches, they might not care, because I've seen plenty. As soon as the sermon, is started, they exit stage left, and then when he
Bishop Paul was like, "Where y'all going?"
Yeah, and then once they start hooping, they bring it back in. But Bishop Paul was like, a hat. Y'all need to hear this too.
Right.
And so I can see how that could kind of be a conflict if you don't even believe in God. Like, well, what do I need to hear this for? But
Kellie,
again,
you trying to say something? I'm sorry.
Well, I didn't want to interrupt Janessa. Go ahead. I'm trying to keep my thought.
Go ahead, Kellie. Then keep it quiet.
That's the only reason why I was trying to go ahead and get you to say it, because I saw you do like this, and I know Janessa.
Oh, I got you. No, so I think that's a good point, because I actually think this is a really good topic. I'm surprised in 4 years we hadn't talked about this. This is actually a really good topic, right? It's a really good topic, because I see both ways. I see, hey, musicians, you need to stay because you need to get this word too. But I've told my dad, like, but sometimes they look so bored up there and they look so disengaged and so uninterested. And I would like to say it's because they've heard the same, they heard the same story 2-3 times. This may be the second service, the third service, they've heard it, and so it's whatever. But when you're sitting down and you're texting the entire time, or you sleep up there, or you know what I'm saying, you look so disinterested. Like, I feel like that isn't helpful to the service either. And so I do think that even if musicians stay, that they probably shouldn't stay on the pulpit. I don't know, like maybe just the organist or the keyboardist, because usually they're like the lead, the head, and so they know, like, I really get paid for this. Like, I know in my dad's church they like salaried versus like practice and Sunday. And so they're a little more alert and tuned, because I'm like don't sit up there and my daddy done made a funny joke and you look dry. Like, nah, we're not doing that. Like, I'm gonna need you to be up there. I need you to do all the things. So I just wanted, when you said about what you said, Bishop Morton or your dad, which one you say?
Probably it was either Bishop. I think it was Bishop Paul Morton.
Oh yeah,
Who told him.
Yeah, who told them that they needed to hear the word too. Like, I got it, but maybe not from the front.
Or maybe the compromise is to your point, Kelly, about the like just said the multiple services. Because I get it. Even if you sing in the choir, anything, like if you're there, if you got 3 services and you're there all 3 services, how many times do you have to hear the same word?
Right, the same joke, the same
like I got it in the first service. So I think at least maybe there's a requirement of if you know, like if you're gonna be here all 3 services, you know, you got to at least stay for the first one, like listen, be attentive, whatever like that, and maybe service 2 and 3. You know what I'm saying, you can go leave and come back or whatever, because to your point, we don't want you to be bored, and it's a show. Be a distraction to the people in the pews as well as on camera.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like we trying to broadcast or whatever, and you know what I'm saying, back there. Because I never understood why people used to move the choir once the sermon happened, because at New Beginning, Bishop Morton didn't. But it made sense once I kind of grasped the concept, because if you look in a lot of New Beginning like videos, you'll definitely see somebody sleep. You know what I'm saying? At some point. Until he start hooping and hollering, and they're gonna wake up and start just waving their hand or whatever, like
they've been up the whole time,
right? You know what I'm saying? But and like I said, it's not the whole choir, but even with us, like the kids choir, I'm sure when I was in the kids choir, you could find me sleep back then when Bishop singing. I mean, was preaching. You know what I'm saying? So I get why it's a distraction. Keep him out the way, but I do think that I think it is kind of like interesting to just hire somebody as a musician who's a part of worship, who like is completely disconnected from what it is that they're putting out. You feel what I'm saying? Like this is literally I'm just talented enough to do this. I know how music works. I can blend in with whatever it is that, you know, what y'all trying to do, but I'm not really like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not really in it. You know what I'm saying? Because if that check don't clear, I'm not going to be back next Sunday. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, and there could be some people who love God who feel that way too, but you know what I'm saying? But I think, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I really know the answer, but it's very interesting to, because when you're hiring staff at a church, man, and maybe y'all can speak to this, because we ain't big enough to have no staff that's hired. Like whoever helping out. That's just, you know what I'm saying? But I don't. But when you're hiring staff, whether it's the secretary, whether it's the superintendent of Sunday school, whatever, like are all of these other positions, deacons, ministers, all these other positions, are you checking their heart? Are you checking their service? Are you checking, you know, how much they love God, how much Bible they know, and whatever. But then the musicians are the only ones that, you know what I'm saying, that can just come in here and just, hey man, he can drum roll with one arm. You know what I'm saying? Bring him in. You know what I'm saying?
It's like you wouldn't hire an atheist to be the youth pastor.
Correct. You feel what I'm saying? Like, so I'm saying, like, are they the only ones that get it past because singers most likely are going to be, if you're a gospel singer, most likely you believe in God to some capacity. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if you got sage and crystals, you still, you know what I'm saying, are like acknowledging like whatever it is you want to call them, most high, whatever. But like, if you're just a guitar player who don't even think God is real, but you heard churches be paying, you get to just walk in when everybody else has some level of a standard to be able to have to serve.
So a couple of things. Just to go back, I will say, especially during the pandemic, at least my dad's church, they don't do it so much with like a full choir, but when it's like the praise team, they will come from back. Because it was like a lot of distractions, and yes, sometimes people, you know, use their phones to read the Bible or whatever. But then also you can see the you know, like from the scrolling or whatever. Like you said, people sleep.
Wait, you can see them laughing from scrolling on their phone?
Oh yeah. Like I mean, you giving them this and
hilarious. I didn't know
that has nothing to do with the sermon. Nothing to do.
You got that, you got people having conversations to the side. And it's one thing, like, pass me a peppermint, or can you get the tissue, to like full-blown conversations. And so my dad was like, we gonna take that out. Y'all gonna have to come out to the side. You can sit in the audience. But for it to not to be a distraction. But also during that time, like I said, during COVID, we weren't necessarily having in-person audience at the time either. So it just kind of made things more noticeable, because they're not like panning to the crowd now. It's like strictly on my dad and the folks in the back. So I can see that. I think also, I can really only speak to my church. Our minister of music is a Christian, and I feel like there's a filter when he's bringing in musicians. You know, of course you want it to be a good fit for the church and etc., but it also has to be a good fit for him, because he's the one who has to work with them directly. And so I'm just under the belief that, and I could be wrong, that our minister of music, you know, has a certain level that he's looking for. And then of course, you know, just like with jobs, you have to get references, or even if it's like, hey, I got a homeboy who's great, there's still, at least in our church, like kind of like a probationary period. Like you're kind of under test trial or whatever like that. But that's because, you know, my church and my dad wants to make sure it's a right fit. And, you know, everybody's not a right fit. But there are some churches, you know, who might not feel like that's a big deal. They just want somebody to be there on Sunday. It don't matter, as long as they get the job done. I guess, again, not saying, oh, this is right or wrong, but I'm saying I guess it could work if it's meeting the needs of the music ministry, the music director, the church, or whatever.
Right.
But I don't know how well that would fly in some of the churches we know, and some of the pastors we know, just growing up or have been in those churches. I don't know how that works. I was saying I don't know if that would work, just because they operate from a very spiritual place. And if you're not tapped in, if you're an atheist, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but if you're an atheist, you don't believe in God at all, right?
You don't believe like no gods. Like you know, yeah, it's not even just like the Christian God. You just don't believe in
God.
Yeah.
And so when you get saved, from my understanding, that's when you receive the Holy Spirit. So if you're an atheist and you don't have the Holy Spirit, there's literally nothing telling you or guiding you, or there, you know, like that's lacking. And so I just don't, it's hard for me to fathom it, but I'm also not an atheist. I'm not in the music ministry. I don't know all the ins and outs. I don't know if it's that big of a deal to them. Just from an outsider looking in, I would feel like that would be important. Kind of like the other way around. Would a Christian go play at a satanic church? Like
if the bag was right, some of them would.
Maybe. I don't know. But also to your point, Rudy, like I know several musicians who play in the church faithfully, but also play for, you know, well-known artists. One of our past drummers played for Mariah Carey. And you know, I don't think Mariah has any kind of crazy music, but I do know some who have played for like rap artists. And so on, you know, Sunday, how great is our God? But then they're on tour for the next 6 weeks, pop, lock, and dropping it. And well, not them, but you know what I'm saying, the music that they're playing for. And I don't know about that either. Because I don't know, like, on one hand, it's like it's a job, right? It's a business. People got to get paid. But then it's just, and I understand that churches don't pay. Like, I don't, especially like these smaller churches, they're not paying you a salary that you can live off of. So you would have to do something else. But sometimes I do wonder about that. Those artists that I see in church faithfully playing, but then I'll see, you know, on their Instagram, they playing for Too Short or something like that. And they blowing the whistle. So I don't know. I've spoken a lot. I'm gonna let somebody else have it. I think it's just interesting. Go ahead, Kellie.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's an interesting topic. Like I definitely see both ways. I definitely agree with Rudy. That I feel like musicians. So okay, let me say it this way: that there's a what's the word I'm looking for? Choir director, head musician, or whatever, you know, that I know that my dad has on staff. And so, and Berean has always had one on staff. And so they have office hours, they work during the week, going to the office, they have office, all of that good stuff. So it's not just rehearsal and Sunday service. You know, they're expected to play for funerals and church events and those things. And so I definitely feel like that person on staff needs to be saved. Needs to be saved, needs to have the spiritual capacity to be able to sit through 3 services. And you know, because like you said, sometimes, and my dad is not even a hooper or a singer, but sometimes he need a little musical background or whatever. And so you should be able to have the stamina, the spiritual stamina, to be alert enough for those 6-7 hours to do your job. Just like we got to have the stamina to do our jobs for 6-7 hours. Like I can't go and do, you know, 15 minutes and then go take a break for an hour and then come back for another 15 minutes. Like I got to do it for the 7-8 hours. And so I think musicians need to be held to that same standard. And I think whoever is the lead, why can't I think of the name? Whatever, but whoever is the lead needs to be able to do that. Now, on the flip side, it is also a business. And so when you talk about your bass player, when you talk about your drummers, when you talk about your saxophonists or whatever else you have up there, those, like I said, those may not be members of the church. You may not have a member of the church, someone that's saved, that is skilled to do what needs to be done. And so I feel like I get the balance in it both. Like, and then which one do you value more? Like, which one do you lean toward? Like you said, Rudy, do I get an okay musician that's just okay, but believes in the Lord? Or do I get this skilled drummer who isn't an atheist? Now, I don't believe in atheism, you know, but who, you know, whose spiritual walk may not be, you know, where it should be, where we would like it to be, to play. I see both sides. You know, I also see, like I said, I like what the man said in the video about, you know, it may be tickling to your ears, but it doesn't change your heart. You know, in which, what did he say? In what you bring, something about temperature. I'm gonna listen to that one again. Send it to me, Rudy. It's only the picture in the group chat.
Oh, that's why she put it in the video in there. That's how I played it.
Oh, okay. I missed it. So but yeah, like I said, so I feel like I see both sides. Like I said, I definitely feel like whoever the head musician needs to have the spiritual stamina and needs to be tied, need the tithe. That's my daddy. Need the tithe. Need to participate in the fast and the prayers and the small groups, and like you are a member of the church. You are immersed in this setting. For the other players, I can see both ways. I think ideally you would like someone who's saved. And that may be the bare minimum. Like saved may be the bare minimum. You know, now do you attend church regularly when you don't have a church gig? You know, do you pray at home? Do you have your quiet time? That may be something that we grow you into, but I take that back. I do think at a minimum, you got to be saved. Like I can't have you believing in someone else on my pulpit ministering. Like I said, now you may not be
that's important.
Yeah, you may not be as spiritually sound and strong as I would like you to be. But I think the bare minimum is that you have to believe in God. But I think it's an interesting topic because it is a business and is a, sell to the highest bidder type thing, like
because you can be left hanging. Because there's also people who are saved who will leave your church if the money ain't right or if somebody has a higher offer. So it's like, well, dang, because what if you got an atheist who's just as talented as the others? You ain't got to pay that much, and he's loyal. Like he's like, I'm good here. Like I like playing here. You know what I'm saying? Like so it versus the Christian who every time you hire somebody who say they saved, they keep leaving you hanging. Eventually. Whether it's right or wrong, your flesh gonna start telling you, like, man, I'm finna go with the atheist. Like he killing it, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe he'll get some Jesus while he here, and you know what I'm saying?
Maybe we'll convert him.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what I was gonna mention. I mean,
it's like
maybe the church, he'll hear something or she and will become a believer. But even then, like, you're still a babe in Christ, and there is some learning that needs to go on.
But see, sorry to interrupt, but see, now I'm even thinking about from a different aspect, because see, I also work just saying like the audio video, right? Now I know for a fact there are big churches who none of the people on that team go to that church because that's a production company that they've hired. You feel what I'm saying? To shoot this. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like how much of this is considered ministering versus how much is just, you know what I'm saying? We using this to get this out there or whatever the case may be, because even going to the whole, like, just say you not being a part of just say the Christian culture, but having some effect. We've had two kids, their brother and sister, who helped me out with like the video and stuff. And both of them at the time they was helping me out heard something my dad said. And they both like Muslim, like they from like Pakistan or something like that or whatever. And they've heard something my dad said, and like during the time when we had like testimony, whatever like that, like they went up front and like testified like about like on some like Christian type of, and saying like, yeah, I thank God for let me be here to hear that type, So it's like, I guess it's kind of like, yeah, we didn't make sure they were saved to let them, use the camera, but at the same time, they were, infected. So I think it is case by case, because obviously if you're leading praise and worship, but you come from a Muslim background, you wouldn't even be able to lead it, because for one, you're not even gonna know the songs, nor are you going to even be leading people to be worshiping the same God. So obviously there has to be a line drawn there. But when it comes down to just say a musician or a cameraman or whatever like that, maybe there is a fine line. You know what I'm saying? Maybe there is just discernment you have to use and be led by God. Like, is this somebody just seeking an opportunity, or is this an opportunity for God to move in this person's life by me, you know what I'm saying, by me allowing them to, do their thing here or whatever, what type of integrity they have. Because I think, like I said, I think that matters whether they've been in church their whole life or not. Because I know people personally who love God, grew up in church, all that, won't even play at their own daddy church because their daddy don't pay enough. You know what I'm saying? So
dang,
it's real. That church musician business is real, which is why my dad, he don't have to play no more because like my mom does, but like for the longest, like he played the organ at the church because he didn't want to pay musicians. Like he wasn't.
Miss Larnell plays the organ.
Let me find out.
I didn't know that, but I can see that.
Yeah, and she took piano lessons when she was a little kid, and just done had to use that and God and figure it out. It's been working.
Well, maybe this is a big maybe, because I know every church doesn't have this capacity. But maybe we need to start, building up some of the youth to learn how to play some of these instruments, and then you can pull from within your church. They might not be there forever, but
the only problem is you're not gonna say problem, but the one thing you have to be cautious of is make sure they don't get bit by the business bug, because a youth can come up learning in the church, because a lot of them came up can learn in the church, And that's why even a lot of them veer off and just go into just say the music industry or the secular world or whatever like that, because I've honed my skills here, but the money is here. You feel what I'm saying? And ultimately, we want to have a good life here on earth. Like, we all be hearing all that, everlasting life and a mansion and the crown, and everybody hear all that and still be like, yeah, but I'm really want some Balenciaga before I die. I need that. I need to be on a PJ. You know what I'm saying? I need to buy my mama a house. Like, we'll
yeah.
We want to make that bread.
That's why I said they probably won't stay forever, because I think of like a Justin Gilbert who grew up, and Thankful. Him, I think it was Larry McTerry, some other guys who used to watch like Stanley Wilder, and like was hoping to play, and then they did get a chance every now and then, and even like someone like PJ Morton, I know he played for Bishop James Morton at New Beginning, because baby, I was at church second row, excited to see PJ on that organ. But it does seem like over time that having kids in the the musicians pit and hoping that they can get to play on the offering song or whatever, like I don't even really see that anymore. Because even at my dad's church, there was always some kids with some drumsticks wanting to get on, and sometimes the musicians would let them play at the end when they playing a little music as people socializing or whatever. But it just seems like that's not really happening these days. So I guess churches are forced to a certain extent to look outside or look elsewhere, for musicians. I know at our church sometimes if a musician wasn't secured in time, like one of the deacons would go over there and play some basic and make it through the service. But yeah, I will say I agree with Kelly. I think being a Christian or being saved is the bare minimum. I just don't see why. I mean, I guess other than a paycheck, why someone who doesn't believe that there's a God would even want to be in that
paycheck. Because musicians get paid a lot now. Let's be clear. After like pastor, associate pastor, then it's musicians.
Yeah.
Like they get paid now.
Yeah.
Because it's a skill set that not everyone has, and so they know that there's more of a demand for it because everyone can't do it, and so there's more people.
Yeah. I say can't do it to that high level.
Right. There's more people who can get up there and pretend to do a sermon for you on a Sunday than can get on them keys and play that keyboard. They can play the drums, they can play the bass. I can get up there and chat GPT a sermon for you and practice enough that it sounds good enough, but I can't chat GPT how to play them keyboard.
Right.
I don't know what to do. And so so at any level, but especially at a high level, but at any level, people can't do that. I feel like musicians a lot of times are more skilled than the singers, because you got some little flat, pitchy, tone deaf praise team leaders. You know what I mean? But yeah, and so it's supply and demand for musicians, and it's definitely a skill that I understand where pastors have to be a little more flexible in the way in which they go about hiring them. Because it's hard, and they know it.
Yeah.
It's like I said, especially if they're at a high skill level. They know it.
Which is why a lot of them, they have sons that are musicians, such as PJ, my dad, Bishop Tracy Bowles. I know he got his son playing the drums at New Beginning. Like when they got that kid that can play, you gonna play.
Right.
Yeah, because that's one less person I got to pay. Even if I pay you, I ain't got to pay you like everybody else.
The only instrument I can play is the recorder. Okay. And I got Can You Feel the Love Tonight? And it was one more song. Y'all know what I'm talking about, little recorder. That's all.
The little wooden thing.
That's all I got. And maybe a tambourine.
Yeah. I think it's interesting. It's a very touchy subject. Like I said, I think you just got to use discernment because it's
for sure. It's great.
it's so case by case, and you just don't know. Because even like for like big I don't know if you want to call it a conference, but like so just prime examples. When I was living in Jacksonville, there's this church, this pastor, his name is Don Johnson. He has his church wasn't like, it was a storefront church, but like it was like, just say if it could probably hold 100 people, and they was probably doing 3-4 services, like would just say like a packed house. So I'm sure they eventually moved, but he definitely had some connection with like Bishop T.D. Jakes, Bishop Noel Jones, because he would always do every year this, I don't know if you want to call it a conference or not, but maybe like what do you call it, a
convention,
or like a revival.
Oh,
Maybe like a revival, like a 2-night revival. And one night would be Bishop Noel Jones, one night would be Bishop T.D. Jakes. But the point I'm getting at is the musicians that would be playing for this revival, because it's at a huge venue. You talking about, it's probably, this venue could probably hold 3,000-4,000 people. You know what I'm saying? But the musicians that's playing for this are not the same musicians that play for him on Sunday.
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I know because one of them, the head organist who was leading the band, was the dude who I went to college with. You feel what I'm saying? So, and I know he don't go to his church. So what I'm getting at is, there's even a business, even when you're trying to do like a bigger production, like, okay, I got T.D. Jakes coming, I got all these people. So even, you know what I'm saying, let me step up my game. Let me find the best musician in the city. You know what I'm saying? And as far as the band at large, I don't know whether all of them were saved or not or whatever. But the point I'm getting at is, like, I think a lot of, I don't know what the temperature is like now, but definitely over the years, it's definitely been a huge business strategy. I mean, it's almost like you like trying to, like, draft and trade and recruit players for like a football team or something, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you trying to strategize like the contracts, and if they're gonna leave and try to be a free agent and all this stuff. I guess you almost got to get a business person to help you make these decisions, because you just want to be a pastor. You know what I'm saying? You want to serve God's people, preach the word.
Right.
Now you got to.
It became a whole thing.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's tough. You know what I'm saying? I get it.
For sure.
I know one thing: the musicians definitely, even if they Christians, they definitely ain't got to live right to be musicians.
Because again, like if a deacon did what a musician did, I mean, it will be 2 different consequences.
Mm-hmm.
I got a dozen deacons, and I only got one person who could play this bass, and Billy come every week.
What if the deacon he like security for a secular artist, like he going on tour, just how the musicians go on tour, he go on tour with them, but he a deacon, he'll get scolded. They're like, Deke, how you gonna be out there with Cardi B or whatever? You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
he'll get killed because he a deacon, but not the drummer. No, that's his gift. He got to feed his family.
Right. Yeah, that's a tough one.
Cameraman, same thing. That's his gift. But
yeah,
that's
a tough one.
It's a little biased. All right, that's what's up. Well, thank you, Janessa, for that topic.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one.
Are you jeweling it up today?
I do. I just can't remember if I said this one. I have like 3, and I can't remember if I said this one. So if I did, I'll go on to the second one. Did I do Don't Outpace God's Grace?
Don't outpace God's grace. I don't think so. You can do that again now.
Okay. So yes, this week's jewel is don't outpace God's grace. And essentially what that means is don't try to get ahead of God. And like a lot of times I'm guilty of doing this as well. You try to do things in your own strength, your own power, your own time, because it doesn't seem like God is moving or things are working out in your favor, or he's just taking too long. And if you've been listening to this podcast for at least a year, then I've been through a lot, and I'm just like over it. And there's been a lot of changes with these executive orders and federal hiring freezes and just all sorts of stuff. And it definitely has impacted some of my future plans that I had made for myself. But I am learning not to outpace God's grace, because even though this season has felt like a very long season and it's been tough and exhausting and all the things, I don't want to get to a place where I outpace God's grace and then I'm literally jumping out of the frying pan and into the fire. And so I just want to encourage everybody, whatever you're going through, especially if it's just a difficult season, to trust God in this process. God has you there for a reason, whether he's molding you, teaching you lessons, preparing you for what's next. It's for a purpose. And we've already talked about in these jewels how we can't skip steps. So don't try to skip steps, and try to go beyond where God has you. And so, yeah, I heard that on the radio and it just stuck. Don't outpace God's grace. There's protection in God's grace. There's resources in God's grace. There are blessings in God's grace. And so as long as we are staying where he wants us to be, then we should be good, even if it doesn't look like it. And I will end that jewel there, but my jewel for the next 2 weeks will pick up on that one. So yeah, that's it.
Man.
Don't outpace God's grace.
Hey man, that is pretty interesting. I didn't hear whatever you heard on the radio, but I definitely heard everybody's favorite Pastor Mike Todd, talk about that in a video I heard from him. It was actually several years ago, but he was talking about how basically when this church kind of was first like on the rise or whatever, how like every year God would give him a word. Like, so one year could be like, go beyond. The next year could be whatever. But then he said, and then that the year came where God just told him like to stride. You know what I'm saying? And to fast forward through the story, basically going back to as far as the whole pace and the grace, he was saying that like basically like God told him like he will give them grace for the pace that he provides for them. But if you try anything that you try to do outside of God's pace, you're gonna be responsible for, trying to handle that. But as long as you stay within my pace, I'll give you the grace for whatever, comes with it. So what I'm saying is just confirmation. I just heard that. You feel what I'm saying? And then you saying it. So, I'm gonna join your church when you come back.
Amen.
I am not starting a church.
A little virtual. We can start off a little virtual church.
You're start. You might continue on. You're a PK.
No.
I start from scratch when
you got something already made, right?
Foundation has already been set. Old Sarah Jakes.
Oh no. I'll be like Kellie, talking about the HBCUs on Sunday.
Janessa Rowland Roberts.
No ma'am, no ham, no turkey. The deli is closed. God ain't tell me that was my ministry. I can give y'all jewels through this podcast. And I do feel like, even though I don't like doing them, and every time I do them, I get nervous and I feel like my voice shakes and nothing I say makes sense.
The jewels?
Yeah. Yeah. But I do feel like that's a calling. So I'm going to stick with just the jewels. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just stick there.
Right.
Right now.
Yeah. That's what we
There was a time you didn't do jewels, but now you're doing jewels.
Right.
No.
There was a time you didn't do jewels.
See, listen, I did do jewels. I just did them in the podcast. That's the difference. I would drop them.
You right.
There was a time you didn't do podcasts. 4 years later,
Listen, there was a time you didn't do podcasts.
No.
Now you're doing jewels on the podcast.
No.
Now you got your own segment.
No.
Only person with their own segment.
You're the only person who the screen pop up individual.
Only segment. First you can do
y'all
podcasts.
would bring in Kellie's keys so she could pray. Kellie could have her segment too.
Those just come out sporadically. The jewels are a consistent jewel that we need. You don't always need a key. Well, you do.
Yes, we do. Yes,
Well,
we
you
do.
but you don't. Things electronic now. Now you just tap. You don't need that. That's an old school model. Keys are old school model.
You know, maybe I'll come out with
But
the
jewels are forever.
Listen,
No.
what?
I will come out with maybe
I
a
ain't gonna never be
devotional book.
played out.
Devotional book.
Hey, even you even working for jewels on your crown in heaven. I mean, jewels is just. We ain't gonna always need a key, but we gonna need a jewel.
Yeah, maybe a devotional book. We'll put all these jewels together.
Right. Listen, you got a library of them. Just go on back.
That's about the best.
Just fast forward to the end. Get us another view. As you fast forward to the end and review your jewels.
That's gonna be the book. That's all I got.
Amen. Got a little audio book. I like it.
Yeah.
Now, Kelly, how we go from a devotional to an audio book?
It's an audio devotional.
And your congregation will be the first people to buy it.
Mm-mm.
They're gonna be your number one supporters.
See, you know what you should do? So you ever done on the Bible app their little daily devotionals? And so you do like a little scripture, and then you get a little video,
a little jewel,
and then you get a little passage to read, a little devotional to read. Then you go into the prayer, and it leads you to some prompts and some prayer.
You gonna do the prayer.
And you can do you can just take your jewels, and that'll be just the video, and then there's a little prompt, a little devotional, and the scripture that go with it, girl.
You could be on the Bible app right now getting paid.
Listen,
you don't want
y'all. I'm so glad y'all have so much faith in me.
You gotta go on surrender, man. Stop fighting.
The Lord has not said anything to me about that for real.
He's saying it now. You just not listening.
Look, even Theodore done jumped in.
We are the vessels of the Lord. He's saying it now.
He's saying it now.
Talking about the Lord ain't saying nothing to me, baby. What are we?
Did the Lord say anything to us, Theodore?
Yes.
No.
He's talking to you right now through us. It'll hit you later.
It'll get you later. Don't let her sleep, Lord. Say yes to her calling.
It'll hit her later.
No.
What about a sleep preacher?
Right. It'll hit her later, baby.
That's funny.
And then when she say it and she pretend like it's her own thought, we're gonna let her have it. I'm gonna do it the devotional.
No, always told me.
We're gonna make it think it's hers. I'm gonna be a pastor. You know.
You see how the zoom in was like?
No. Oh, Pastor Honor Roll. All right.
No.
There you go.
Dang. Princess Kells 51. Still private, man. 2025 ain't nothing changed.
All right.
You can find me at JRihanna_. We have fun over there when I'm out of grad school. How about that? I'm just trying to make it the next 5 weeks, okay?
Amen. Almost there.
Shout out our producer at RHESA_G. What happened?
You going to LA in May?
That's like Crimson Birthday or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
All right.
Cream.
Yeah, go see my light-skinned dog. Sure. He's so funny. I be watching the videos that I made with him when I was in Atlanta. Yeah, he's very entertaining to watch.
And I'm gonna go early to go spend some time with him, man. I got to go spend some time with my baby.
Yeah.
Look, I just want him to know who I am and not cry. That's all.
That little lip he poked.
I picked him up.
And
started.
And iPhone's got live photos, so I actually held it down, and you see the way he look over at you.
It was like immediate, like, oh my god.
I got to go spend some time with my baby.
I'm gonna have to send a good picture to Risa and be like, show him my picture every day.
You need to know, man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as always, we appreciate everybody who supports this podcast, whether you've been here since day one or you arrived in the Suits era. We are grateful. Leave reviews, leave comments, click the like buttons, do all that type of stuff that makes the algorithm work in our favor. Share it with somebody, do all that. Tell us what hashtags we should use. And if you have any topics, please send them our way because we be coming up with them on the fly. And so thanks Janessa for just
I'm about to say, let's be honest, it be me.
It does.
Yeah, I'm saying, I'm saying, I guess what I'm saying, we be looking at your videos the day of and then saying,
sometimes
okay,
I look at them beforehand.
Let's do this one. Yeah. So a combination of Janessa and the Holy Spirit, we are making it through. So thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for watching. We are the worst ones. Throw your tools up. We out.
Top of the world.